and Moritz is the governor of this area, and as a young leader, he will be sharing with us stories of a failed leader. Let's give a welcome to Moritz from.
So the first test today is the microphone. No. Switch it on. I switched it on. You can on the back. All right. There we go. Thank you very much to the sound technicians to actually introduce the theme of my speech. It's about failure. It's about being a leader and how that feels. But I'm not going to talk about my Toastmasters role today. So I'll put off my name tag. I'm here to talk as a human who's actually so getting down from 10 to like 5. 2 weeks ago, I was about to quit my job. The most words that were in my head were, I still have to, I must, I should, I haven't done, I should have thought of. 2 weeks ago, I almost gave up what I did the last 3 years. 2 weeks ago, I was failing on a large emotional scale. And I want to share with you what happened to the projects that I was in. We were 4 guys working on it, and we couldn't get this thing done. I want to share with you what happened and what did not happen. Things that did not come out of my head, connections that I could not make, and work that did not happen that needed to happen. We hear a lot about leadership and how we be great and how we build teams. We never talk about how it is when it doesn't work. 2 weeks ago, I realized that the project that we were working on, nobody knew about. There was 100 people coming. We expected 100 people. And we haven't gotten out the message that actually that event was about to happen. We were struggling with getting all the details together. And it was very hard for me to see all the hard work failing because we almost didn't get out the message. So one thing that I learned, the most important thing about the things in your head is they have to get out. It sounds kind of hard because they're so pretty in your head, and when they get out, they become so ugly. Most of the time. So you get those things out of your head, and then you have to polish them really hard, because all of a sudden, your ideas are hitting reality. And that is sometimes really hard to take, because all your imagination in your head is about this idea, this event, this project that you're having. And you're expecting your teammates to know you inside your head inside out. Let me share a secret with you. They don't. With some of the project mates, I've known them for more than 5 years. I studied with them, and still they don't know my head, and I don't know theirs. So it's not only about being in your head, it's about being out there and shaping into something different, something real, something happening. The second thing that did not happen is the connection between the 4 of us. I had evenings where I thought, boy, am I working that hard? And I'm betting them that they had the same evenings, and they had a feeling of, nobody else is doing something, and who's actually in charge? So 4 people, and all of them thought somebody else is in charge. So somehow we didn't manage to connect with each other. And that is the second leadership learning that I took from this experience, is you have to connect with people. Most of the things are due to the fact that you did not get out of your head. So most of the work is actually talking to each other, connecting. Like what Jenny said before, is being genuinely interested in somebody else's idea. Forget about your own. Just try to understand somebody else's idea. And just before the event happened, I had a look. We had about 1,000 Facebook messages going back and forth with each other. 1,000 Facebook messages. And we're pretty good communicators, like almost Toastmaster level. Well, yeah, almost. And you know what? When we get things done was always when we were on the phone. Because in the Facebook messages, we couldn't get the message across in a way that it was understood. And most of it was due to the fact that we were working at different times, we were working in different modes, we were working on different things, and everybody was responsible about something else. And so we kind of talked across each other and missed each other. What happened then is, at some point somebody realized, okay, this isn't working out, picked up the phone and said, I talked to this guy, I talked to that guy, and then things started to move. And it was interesting to see how the connection within one phone call replaced, I would guess, 100 Facebook messages or 100 emails. So we got the things out of our heads. We got the things into a message, and it somehow started to roll. And if you take a team setup, like 4 people, and does somebody know the Pareto principle? Yeah. Doing 20% actually gets you done with 80%. 20% are about the cognitive experience that Jenny was talking about getting things rolling. So I have a challenge for you next time you work in a team. Use those 80% of tasks that are not that important to actually connect with other people, to help and understand each other of what's actually happening. Because in the end, in a year time, I most likely will have forgotten about the event itself and all the nitty-gritty details. But I will remember for sure the team and the relationship that I established with those people. So it's when Jenny was talking about connecting with your audience, I thought, it's not just the audience, it's everyone that you're working with. Being genuinely interested in the people that you work with, not in the task, in the people, what is moving them, why are they doing like this, what is actually the purpose of their response, what is my emotion towards them, why am I feeling like this when they respond to a task that I have. So when you get things out of your head and you connect to people and you get your 20% of tasks done, you have 80% of your time to connect to people. And this is not only stage time, this is every time you communicate with somebody else. Think about what is your connection with that person. What is it that's making him feel this way, that way? Most of the time, it is about being connected with somebody else. And last but not least, the last aspect of the leadership that I learned from failing this project was there are some moments where you actually make sure you're doing the work. And it's also about the connection with other people. We talk a lot about delegation and delegating it to somebody else. Has anyone ever failed in delegating? Like, raise your hands. Yeah, usually you have this urge about the idea that you have in your head, and you haven't had the time to connect, so you're doing the damn thing yourself. And resisting this urge is one of the hardest learnings that I had to take, and not doing it myself, because my idea sounds a lot better. There are a few times when you still should act. And the most memorable story that I know is the birth of my brother. He's like 13 years younger, and he had his cord around his neck when he was born. And my mom took him and held him really close, and the midwife was the only one calm in this room, took it away from my mother, pulled it across his neck, and he was breathing again. So there are moments and most of the projects, most of them are not life-threatening, but there are moments where people might disconnect from your project, where they need your emotional support. And that is the moment where you should not resist your urge in getting things done and actually connecting with them again. In total, the project turned out quite fine. And I'm very proud today to be in the room with 3 other guys that made this conference happen. 2 weeks ago, I was about to quit my job as an area governor and thought about, why am I doing this? 2 weeks ago, I almost deleted it to get the ideas out of our head. We were able to talk with each other, to give support in times where there was panic rising about details of the 80% that are not that important, but still need to be taken care of. And my 20% are different ones than from Albert, than from Yaroslav, and from Ollie. I really appreciate the work that you did here and the leadership learning of failing, rising, and making this event happen. Mr.